Hi, my name is Ollie and welcome to this fifth diary entry for Open Assistant, Marketing Open Assistant. So quick recap. What did we do in the past episodes? We've set up a content system, we've set up a set of agents with tools and goals to achieve. And what we're doing in this episode is actually adding more tools to the Open Assistant setup so that we can do even more useful, powerful, and efficient stuff with Open Assistant. The highlights that we'll address is how to make a plugin, how can you actually assign tools that result from a plugin to a set of agents. The first thing to add plugins to Open Assistant, we might have addressed this earlier, but on the settings tab on plugins, you can add any plugin you like. Yeah, we already added two. I'll show you how to add a new one in a bit, but let's add a new one. To get started, it's very important to first activate the plugin creator agent. By default, it's disabled, so go over to settings, agents, and enable this one. Once you did that, you can go to the chat tab, and in there, you can actually ask Open Assistant to create a plugin for Open Assistant. So what I've added here is, could you make a plugin for the Descript API? Descript is what I'm using to actually record these videos and to edit them very fast. I just want to be able to fetch the transcript from a project. The docs are here. So let's give it a shot. I just want to be able to have some endpoints. In the meanwhile, I'll open this as well so that you have an idea of what it is. So let's go. This is basically what the Descript API documentation looks like. So actually the majority of the information should be on this, or at least it should be able to get there. Let's see. So what Open Assistant is doing now, it's browsing the internet basically for the documentation of Descript. Now you'll see that it's actually very useful to have tools and software that you use with proper API documentation, because we've discussed in another blog post that this is basically an inversed MCP server. So let's give it a shot. Okay, it found the documentation. I'll say go for it. Let's go. Seems to have found something. It's installing the plugin. Let's have a look. Plugins installed and the API is reachable. Here's the summary. Let's have a look. What is very important is that you will need to add API tokens yourself. Don't pass secrets, passwords, API tokens, whatever, via the chat itself, because it's not supposed to be in the conversation itself. It should be enabled as a tool. That's also the whole design of Open Assistant, that your secrets are safe within the backend of the application. Long story short, go to the settings, go to the plugins. You'll see the Descript API right here. And this is basically where you need to add your API token. What you can see as well is that the whole set of APIs that will be addressed is set here. What I will do is I reviewed this whole JSON myself, and I'll make it a bit shorter. The less, the better. I'll validate and save so that it's actually there. I reduced it to 3 tools basically. And now let's see, I will add an API token, save, test connection. It will say 404. But it was able to connect. I'll enable the tools. And what is very important now is these tools, since they are enabled, should show up in the tools tab. And you will see it right here. Export project transcript, get project details, list projects. That's exactly what I wanted. What I'll quickly do is I'll add an agent. I'll call it the Descript agent. Descript agent fetch transcripts from Descript edited projects. Goal, fetch transcripts from Descript. It's gonna be really short. I'm not gonna add any details to that. So let's reload. I'll add Descript transcript as intent keywords. I'll assign the tools. So I'll go back to chat where we were. Go for it. Should have been added. Can you check if you can list my... Okay, let's see. So it uses the plugin Descript API list projects. It's the tool that I just assigned to the Descript agent. Let's have a look. Wonderful. Yeah, so all the diary entries are in there. And today is July 19th, and I'm indeed recording this, which is still an untitled project. So great. So now you know how to create a plugin basically. I want to showcase just to show, and I'm doing it as we go as well. I want to test the agent that is able to Postbridge. I'll be using Postbridge more in a bit to manage the social media scheduling basically. So let's have a look at settings. I've added a Postbridge plugin consisting of 13 tools, so 13 endpoints that I've enabled to talk to from Open Assistant to Postbridge. It's called the Postbridge agent. It's an agent to control Postbridge. It's the Postbridge agent with access to all social accounts of Open Assistant. The role is to create social media posts for Open Assistant in the name of Steve. So backstory the same, priorities, how you've seen it, and then the intent keywords, Postbridge, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, post, channel, social. I want to do a quick campaign over the summer. So let's have a look if it actually works. I'll show you the prompt. So my social accounts are entirely new at this point. And before getting started with the actual launch later this year, I'd like to have some posts over the summer, this July, August period, to create some awareness and online that Open Assistant exists. The main messages should be that we're looking for contributors and or people who want to test the self-hosted AI assistant, and the fact that we'll be launching. Schedule posts to my LinkedIn and X account in July and August, spread it a bit over time. The prompt is actually very important, the first one, because Open Assistant will interpret it and then see. And then I'll review all your posts on Postbridge. Yeah, okay, that's a very broad thing to say. Nevertheless, let's have a look. Let's get started. So I basically asked Open Assistant to create a short set of posts over the summer. I'll quickly go over to Postbridge. I've done a small test earlier, so as you can see, I'll refresh. There's only one post that has been posted already on X. It listed the social accounts of Open Assistant. Okay. It searched Notion. Okay, fair enough. It's building some context for itself, so fair enough. Let's see how that goes. Oh no, that's the previous one. List social accounts. LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. Okay, perfect. List releases. Awesome. This is the set of releases that is there. And as we can see, it's creating a bunch of posts. I can see it's definitely writing stuff. This would have taken me so much time to just get started, to cover 1 or 2 months. After this tutorial, I'll be using this plugin, obviously, to create all the posts for the blogs that have been written. So the flow is quite clear now. We are doing these diary entries. These diary entries are recorded, end up on YouTube, and they result in blogs as well. And then for every blog, I want to have some posts on X. And as we will create new ideas and or content, it will result in blogs. Blogs will result in actual posts. So the effort that I have to do and how it's actually multiplied over different channels and different form factors, this is what Open Assistant is for. It's basically, you have ideas, you still need to think and be creative, but it amplifies what you can do big time. And yeah, what did it do now? So I've sent that prompt, it queried a bit. So it does not have a lot of background information yet because I didn't link it to any specific content to post about. It was just to, okay, can we get some people to contribute over the summer? What I'll do, so you can see on Postbridge that all the posts are there. What I will do is I'll review all these posts and I'll adjust left and right to make sure that it's what it needs to be for Open Assistant. But as you can see, it just sped up the process by a lot. And this is what Open Assistant is about. We'll have the base structure. We're also we're nearing the end of this series. The blogs are created. Now we can put posts on there. As you can see in the settings tab, I've already set up the plugins to get automated release notes. Next step will be to set up some automation. So that's for the next entry.